5th of May all day, and I'm double screening again. The Instagram live twinning with the Facebook live seems to be going on, though colour on both screens is really different. So welcome. Pull up a chair, grab a cup of tea. I'm just going to do hopefully a quick live today, and want to carry on for something that we touched on yesterday. So yesterday I mentioned what I learned from the first step of the itty bitty loosening of lockdown restrictions in New South Wales. Meant that I could have some visitors over the weekend and spend some face-to-face time with one or two friends at a time. And what I learned by Monday was I'm really not ready for isolation to end. So I talked a little bit about that. You can go to Monday the 4th video if you'd like to do that. Hello, whoever's just joined me on Facebook. And then yesterday afternoon, I stumbled across an Instagram live from ABC Life. It's the lovely Kumi Taguchi, and she was interviewing the CEO. Oh, hello, Helen. The CEO of Sane Australia, Jack Heath, and they talked about the same thing. Nothing like being a thought leader. But she also confessed a very similar thing. So other than some of the physical contagion fears of loosening our isolation principles and this heading back to kind of society as we may have known it, but different. So she also confessed that she psychologically and physically didn't feel ready for this. And the wonderful Jack, CEO of Sane, said something really, really useful, which I thought I would share with you. And that he said, we need to reintegrate very, very slowly. And he said it's very much like coming off retreat. So if those of you who've ever done a meditation or mindfulness retreat, particularly the ones which are doesn't have to be a Buddhist retreat, they're Christian retreats, which are really about contemplative practice. You may have silence or large periods of silence that's largely based around meditating, maybe some Dharma study. I've certainly been on retreats like that, whether they've been a long weekend. I think the longest one I went on many years ago was actually a week, and I've certainly got a lot of friends who've been on the rather boot campy Vipassana retreats. That it is a really, really good analogy that, he said it's a bit like coming off retreat. You need to do it slowly. You can't just walk out of 7 days of silence and go to a party. You'll feel a culture clash. You'll feel really uncomfortable, and it's kind of not good for your psyche. So I've been thinking a lot about what Jack said and about that. I'm also really happy to know I'm not alone to say that I feel like I'm not psychologically ready to re-enter society in any way, shape or form like it used to be. For me, it's like I feel like the work is just beginning. And yesterday I talked about kind of going from that learning stage into that growth stage and seeing where it takes me. So thinking about as different countries and states begin to ease up. I know in New Zealand there's talk about perhaps as soon as next week having a date to go to level 2, which includes largish gatherings and kind of reopening of society as close to normal, not big stadium events, but you can go to some sporting events, you can do things with a certain amount of people per square metre. To have a think now about what you need to do to prepare yourself. Now, I know the extroverts are just, champing at the bit, who've been finding it really difficult, who just absolutely relish each stage of loosening of restrictions, and that's fantastic. But, if you are the extrovert, be a little bit thick-skinned if you've got friends who aren't ready to be out there in public in groups of people when that happens. So be a little bit kind to them. And if your introvert side or your ambivert side has really appreciated this comparative quiet for some of us, and I certainly know it's a very different situation if you've got young children at home, one or two parents working, extended families, all in small spaces. Yeah, get out there into the world as much as you feel comfortable. But for the rest of us, maybe think now about your reintegration into whatever form of society we have at the next step. Think about what you want to keep from this process. If you've got any new healthy habits, if you've become somebody who walks for an hour a day, if you become someone who has less social interaction and you've enjoyed that, and think about rationing yourself back in society. Remember, you can still say no. You don't have to be immunocompromised or feign being immunocompromised to really, really slow your reintegration. But think about what you need. Also, think the other thing I'd like you to think about is who your teams are and the services that you've valued that maybe have been unavailable or changed through this interesting time. And I think a lot of us are holding our breath about what cafes, restaurants, and small shops that are going to open for the ones that have been shut, obviously. While a number of restaurants and cafes have been open for takeaways here, we've had some really great long-term, in the neighbourhood 20+ year places that have shut, and we don't know whether they're going to reopen. So if they do reopen, think about making a priority list of what businesses you wish to support when they reopen, and what businesses now you can support if you still have an income coming in and can spend your money. I've now bought 2 prints from artists who I really like. I'm just waiting for the second one to arrive. I think they're very, very small things that we can do to support the artists and the artisans. I'd also get you to think about your health team. So what I should have done in the past month would be to go for a 6-monthly check to my dental hygienist and dentist. They have been shut except for emergency situations, and they're very clear on what an emergency is, and having your teeth cleaned is not considered an emergency. And I did have a thought the other day when I passed their practice with the kind of closed but contact us if sign on the door, that I really don't want to lose them. I want to make it a priority when it's safe to return to see them, that I go see both of them, because I know that they co-own the business and they're fantastic practitioners of what they do. I will be welcoming back into my home my one-on-one yoga teacher when she's comfortable to return. I will be going back to, although I've been able to do some things online, I want to go back to the in-person studio, yoga personal training, relaxing kind of amazing thing that happens for me at Haven Wellness that I go to. So think about your wider health team. I'm looking forward to seeing Polly, my amazing massage therapist. And here, technically, we can get massage, but it's what you feel comfortable with. And I kind of don't at the moment, particularly when kids are getting reintegrated into schools and can be such big vectors. So things like, technically, I can get my hair cut now, but my hairdresser's partner is a nurse, a frontline nurse, and his children go to school and are vectors of snot at the best of times. So think about who you want to support. You might want to support your naturopath now or in the future, or your osteopath, chiropractor, physiotherapist. Think about your healthcare team. Think about your living team, the businesses that you want to support. Think about if you've got money now for any of those services or goods that you can support, and spread that love around, because we are heading into some even more interesting times financially. So tell me what you value. Tell me who you are supporting now and are waiting to support. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow, 1 o'clock. AEST, so Eastern State Australian time, and 3 p.m. in New Zealand. I hope you have a delightful afternoon, and it's good seeing some of my faithful people turning up yet again. So I'm going to say goodbye to the live, end now, and bye to everyone on Facebook. See you tomorrow.